Peace and greetings. Presenting the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, providing in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, bringing you truth messages of inspiration, keen insight, reputable interviews, and so much more. So now, for the truth you've been waiting for, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, Aura, the informationalist.
Yes. Peace and greetings, folks. This is Aura, the informationalist. And I want to welcome you to episode 84 of season 4. This is Agenda to Do You Dirty. Agenda Do You Dirty, baby. That's what we're talking about. Agenda Do You Dirty, which some of us like to call Agenda 2030. But the reason I called it Do You Dirty is because that's exactly what it's doing, people. They're doing us dirty. All of these governments, when it comes to the United Nations, literally have a plan to do a lot of damage, to do a lot of rearranging, a lot of resetting, and breaking down infrastructures to create a whole new one world order centralized system. But of course, no matter what they do, when it comes to the children of the Most High, you can't mess with us because the Most High is always going to have our back, always going to look out for us like parents should. And the Almighty, being the Father of the universe, of that which is and always will be, has got everything under control. But that doesn't negate the fact that certain things are going to be allowed because we are in the days of revelations. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And I'm just going to share some brief information when it comes to the 17 sustainable goals, when it comes to other things in the agenda. I want to give a shout out to the Truth World Order that follows me on Instagram and that I follow because they definitely provided some good key points that I'm going to break down here and kind of do a reintroduction because I've done shows about Agenda 2030 before, but I want to kind of bring some awareness to this all over again because there's a lot of you that have yet to listen to my show or some of you that have just started. And I want to make sure that you get this quality information that you may have not gotten before because you don't know or haven't scrolled down to these types of shows that I've done in the past. We're closing in on 400 shows, brothers and sisters. So if you haven't and you're a new listener, go to season 1. I've been promoting them on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So definitely go check out my old shows. And then, of course, we're going to have on Network of Awareness TV on our Roku channel, we're going to have a bunch of stuff for you to follow and for you to subscribe to. It will be subscription-based, but it'll be well worth it. So, brothers and sisters, I want to welcome you to today's show, Agenda Do You Dirty. So let's get the show started.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
All right, folks. So the situation is this. There is an agenda. It's been full effect. Many of us have seen the effects of it in some of the most realist ways possible, like in your face, since this pandemic has started. Now, let me get some information here because I'm not going to make this a long show. This show is going to be straight to the point so that you understand some of the key things here, that these are things to be not so much, I would say, to be concerned about, but not to the degree where it's going to be like, oh, but at the same time, to be aware and prepared. Because even though we give all our faith to the Almighty, the Most High, we have to do our part. Having an awakened spirit, having a spirit that's rooted in the word of the Most High, and having a spirit that's rooted in serving the Most High, there's certain responsibilities that we have. And I think that in these days of revelation, so much is being revealed, but it's also being revealed to us that we have to take proper precautions and make the necessary preparations so that when the things are to hit the fan, you know what hits the fan, then we have to take it upon ourselves to acclimate accordingly when it comes to our preparation and how we handle things, okay? And with that being said, let's go right into it, people. Let's not waste any time here, all right? I'm not going to give you no fluff. I'm not going to give you no shenanigans. I'm really not going to be entertaining today. At least I'll try to be somewhat entertaining when giving out this information. But as a messenger, I just want to provide you with quality information, not my narrative, but the narrative that's being built by these principalities and dark forces that are controlling a lot of people and are leading people astray from the truth. And they're really trying to break things down systematically, especially here in America. But they're doing this all over the country, all over the world, all over the globe. This is what's happening. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to read off some of these goals that they have for the 17 sustainable goals, okay? Because I've talked about this in full depth, but we need to reintroduce it. So this is the Agenda 2030 goals, and we're going to start off with number 1. No poverty. Wow, that's great, right? You would think there's not going to be any poverty with this great reset. Well, they're saying that they're going to end poverty on all forms everywhere. Now, what this possibly can mean, okay, and we're only going to say possibly because we know what it is. And the people, when you hear me talk in code and cryptic language, there's a reason for that. You know, I know some of you have asked me, like, what do you mean by science appliance? If you haven't figured out what science appliance means, then go back and listen to my shows, because I think by now we all know what the science appliance is. We all know when I say the V and the B, you should know by now. If you don't, go back, because it's quite obvious. But I have to speak cryptically, because if I don't, what's going to wind up happening is they're going to wind up flagging. They're going to wind up striking. They're going to wind up censoring. And they've already been shadow banning. That's not even something that I have control over. The shadow banning, I really have no control over that. They're going to continue to do that, and that's perfectly fine. That's why I ask that if you download the show, spread the word, because the more we spread the word, the more we overcome the shadow banning, okay? So what this can possibly mean by ending poverty is basically that all will receive digital, universal, basic income and identity on the blockchain economy. Okay, that's why they're pushing this cryptocurrency and NFTs. Now, this is no different than the current welfare system that's in place. So they want to make a global welfare system. Okay, wealth distribution from the rich to the poor, so everybody can supposedly be on this equal playing field. And then also the elimination of the lower class. So there'll be only one class, and that class will be the enslaved class. Okay, now the second goal is to zero hunger. Wow, that's great. And the reality is that we have everything in our power to end world hunger today if we really wanted to, or if the government's really assisted in doing that. So we are told that the second sustainable goal is that it's to end hunger and achieve food security and improve nutrition and agriculture. But what it can also possibly mean is that it's more synthetic lab-grown GMO frankenfood, GMOs and nanotechs that affect your DNA, right? Like the science appliance, and many of our foods are affecting our DNA. It's also can mean that those with the FRID chip, which will be available to buy food, resulting in zero hunger, like what Amazon is doing right now, where you can swipe your palm. There are people that have digital devices already in their palm for their jobs, like those people that work in Colorado and Arizona and all these different videos and coverage from newscasts like CNN and ABC. They've shown you that there are people that have adopted this 5 or even 10 years ago, and that are still using these systems to get basic things. Like if they're at work and they want to get, let's say, something out the vending machine, as simple as one of those microwavable Hot Pockets, they could just wave their hand and that thing is going to open up and charge them. So people are literally chipping themselves so they can make it easier for themselves, because we live in a society right now where I have to have things instantly. And the people that are suffering from that mentality the most are the younger generations that are being molded into that way of thinking. We also have the second one, or the third one, my apologies, the third. So this is good health and well-being, right? The good old healthcare system, which we all know that the healthcare system in the United States is questionable, to say the least. So what does this mean according to the UN? It means to ensure healthy lives and push well-being. Wow, wonderful. But what it also can mean is that it's more job production and propaganda for future pandemics to alter DNA. And I love how they put the pandemics, because that's exactly what it is. Future pandemics. Okay, I've talked about that. The pandemic opposed to the pandemic. You know, how can something just happen that you're so prepared for? But that's another story or another show for another another day. What it also can mean is that biometric sensors to monitor the body, which they already have that in place. It's just not on a global scale. It also can mean medical history will go onto a blockchain, all right? Which in actuality, if they were to do that, people, let me tell you something, it would be insane. Now, here are some other things to take notice of. Number 4, okay? It says quality education. Now, you know that the Democrats, along with the Biden administration, has passed a bill supposedly giving people income for their student loan. Now, many of you that have done your research know there's a lot of restrictions to that. So really, we're not really gaining anything from these laws being passed, all right? But according to the 17 sustainable goals for the future, the near future, is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and lifelong learning. Wow, wonderful. But what it also can mean is dumb down the education to indoctrinate, like they've been doing for, with the prison pipeline system, from the schools to the jail system. Also, it can mean upskilling and reskilling for a new life, long learning, for like a long learning gig economy, as artificial intelligence and robotics will replace many jobs. Now, that's for quality education, right? And it reminds me of that movie E84. If any of you remember that movie, E84, definitely reminds me of that. The 5th sustainable goal is gender equality. Woo. People, I'm going to do a Roku episode on my TV network in regards to this, because I found a great documentary that I'm going to go over, but I'm actually going to provide other footage besides this documentary. But this documentary was a foreign film. It's like about 10 minutes long. And it just gives these quotes, which is really good. So we're going to go into that on the TV channel. Now, what does gender equality, what is that going to do according to the UN? It's going to have gender equality and empower women. Great. Okay. But what it also can mean is replace human intelligence with an AI to avoid incorrect judgment. It also can promote medical feminism and for the trans sodomite agenda and multiple genders, right? As we've been seeing gradually increase in that. We can also see a promotion in radical feminism, which is also teaching women to have less or no kids, and teaching that woman empowerment. Like, I don't need a man. I could do everything by myself. I don't even need, to have children. Because when you start thinking like that, a lot of women these days, they don't want to have children because they see the man as useless in their lives. And they look at them more as a tool for satisfaction. I've experienced that personally on multiple scales, but this is the mentality of a lot of toxic women in society today. Also, when it comes to the 17 sustainable goals, is number 6. Number 6 is interesting. Number 6 has to do with water. So it says the clean water and sanitation. So what the UN is basically saying, ensure sustainable water management. Now, many of you know that it's already been proven and documented that much of our water supply throughout the United States and other places, and this was adopted ever since the days where Germany was in power. This goes as far as the alleged Holocaust, is that the water supply has been infiltrated with fluoride in a lot of places. So what does that mean? Well, as we have been told, to ensure sustainable water management, right? But what it also can mean is that metals, fluoride, and nanotech can be placed in the water systems, and as well as control and monitor all water systems. Boy, I tell you. Now, that's number 6. Let's go to number 7, people. Number 7 is the affordable and clean energy goal. Now, what the UN is telling us is that the purpose of this to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy. That's wonderful. But what it also can mean, allegedly, is that it can monitor all energy systems in homes and in corporate buildings in real time. It also can mean that cities and towns to institute blackouts to save on energy. See, that's what they've been doing in certain places, people. Be aware of that. When they're blacking you out for a significant amount of time, that's all test trial. It's happened here. It's happened here where I'm at in Florida. But that's why you need to get your solar power panels, and also get your portable solar panels, or they got so many solar panel devices now that you can take with you and have and store that you don't even have to have in the house. But what they're doing here in Florida, which is very smart, and they're doing it in other places like Arizona and all that, they're creating a solar panel system that is camouflaged, that is built in within the roofing so it's not visible. And whoever came up with that idea is genius, because that, to me, in my personal opinion, makes you a target during times of blackout. Because we know that here in America and in other places, there's a lot of savages. And I'm telling you, people, when these savages emerge in times of chaos, do not hesitate. And I repeat, repeat, do not hesitate to protect your family and take them out, because many of us are going to have to be put in predicaments like that. And many of us have been put in predicaments like that already in society, where I clap when I see somebody trying to attack somebody's home or family, and the person is, has a weapon or has a gun and protects themselves. I clap, salute to y'all. Keep it going, because these demons are lurking and they got to be taken out. You know what I mean? I believe that the Most High graces us with a lot of wisdom and discernment on how to handle certain situations. And sometimes we got to go into warrior mode. It just is what it is, people. Let's go to number 8. Now, number 8 is, give me 1 second here, folks. Number 8 is the decent work and, I'm sorry, I had to laugh about decent work and economic growth. Now, what this is supposed to do, according to the UN, is promote sustainable economic growth, productive employment, and decent work, whatever that means. But what it also can mean, allegedly, is that it replaces workers with robotics and artificial intelligence. What it also can mean is that it could connect workers to VR headsets, to work virtual reality, as the metaverse will be the future of work. Ooh, wowzers. Now, what does number 9 mean? Number 9 is industrial, or should I say industry, innovation, and infrastructure. See, that's why they're decimating and debilitating and completely wiping out infrastructure, because it has to make room for all of this to be introduced. So what we are told by the UN is to build resilient infrastructure, promote industrialization and innovation. Haven't they been doing that? And how has that been working out for us? Not too good, right? Also, use robotics and AI to fully automate infrastructural projects and innovation, making people useless in the industries. Alleged. Okay. Now, give me 1 second, people. I'm having an issue here with my, come on. This is ridiculous. So now we're going to go to, let's see, sustainable goals. That was number 9. We're going to go to number 10. My apologies. My screen over here is acting up. So number 10 is reduce inequalities. What we are told, reduce inequality within countries. What is possibly this means? Now, you think this is a good thing. According to the UN, it's a good thing to reduce inequality with countries, right? Because so many countries are faced with inequality, even here. But it says bringing developed countries down near poverty level while raising poor nations slightly above poverty level. Set up short-term gig jobs in a race to the bottom economy. Couldn't have said it better myself. Wonderful. And people, just to let you know that this episode was supposed to be released on Thursday, so you're going to be getting another episode right after this for the weekend, so that it fills up the 5-day week of daily shows. My apologies for not putting out those shows, but rest assured, like I said, you will get 5 shows a week. So this is your 4th show for the week. Now, with that being said, that was number 10, right? Which is very interesting because they're already doing this. They're already making room for this. And mind you, we are in the year 2022. So we have less than 8 years left for this. Now, moving forward, sustainable, this is sustainable goal number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Now, according to the UN, this is to make cities safe and sustainable, right? But what it also can possibly mean is that move everyone into smart cities with a social credit score system. Who does that right now? China. Everything connected via blockchain, 5G, 6G, 10T, 10B, and AI. Woo. Also, constant surveillance and gun control. We're seeing a lot of that these days. They really want to take your guns away, people. I mean, something awful. What else does this mean? This means that they want to control you with the 5G. Now, according to a lot of research that's been done already, people that have taken science appliance are going to be very much in danger of being susceptible to this increased radiation technology, 5G and even 6E. They call it 6G, but it's actually 6E and beyond. Sustainable goal number 12, people. Responsible consumption and production. So what are we told? And this is in regards to scarcity, because scarcity equals control. If you can make things scarce for people, then it keeps them subservient to your authority. That's why we have to be free and independent so we can live abundantly like the Most High wants us to live. Now, what we are told is this is going to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns for all of the world. But what it also can possibly mean is that food and water is rationed based off social credit scores. Oof. Punish those who throw away food and consumption of frankenfoods and GMO. All right? AKA Bill Hates. And we all know who Bill Hates is. That goes without saying. Now, let's go to number 13. Climate action. Now, we see a lot of politicians that are jumping on this climate change thing because we all know this is very farce. But according to the UN, it says this is to take urgent action on climate change. And what it also could could possibly mean, people, in the reality of Agenda Do You Dirty, is that create a circular economy. Also, both natural and man-made disasters to be blamed on climate change, like they're doing right now, thus keeping draconian measures in place. Carbon and footprint taxes. Listen, this carbon tax to me is fugazi, bogus, and it's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, okay? But hey, this is what they are telling us. This is what they want you to believe in, and this is why I do what I do. Now, sustainable goal number 14, we're getting close to the end, people. Life below water. Now, this is a major focal point now. Pay attention to the new Avatar movie. Pay attention to the new Black Panther movie. Pay close attention when you're watching that. Please, people, watch it with your spiritual eyes, not with your physical or carnal eye, but watch it with the spiritual eyes that the Most High gave you. Watch it with an awakened state of mind, not a dull state of mind that's asleep, because there's a lot of focus on what's going on in the ocean now, right now. And the days of Revelations is we are here, okay? Days of Revelations and the book of Revelations talks about this. Why are they focused on this? Well, it's because according to the UN, they want to conserve and also have the sustainability of use of the oceans. That's wonderful. But what it can also possibly mean is that they want to monitor, restrict to the open seas, lakes, and rivers with sensors and satellites and punish those found guilty. Feed people genetically modified farm-bred and lab-grown fish, which that's done now, all right? They do that a lot in Japan and China too. Now, what's sustainable goal number 15? Life on land. It says what we are told is that it's supposed to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems. But what it can also possibly mean is that the subversive forces, the dark forces, are forcing people off rural land, which a lot of farmers, shout outs to all my farmers, y'all know what I'm talking about. Ranchers, forests, and farms into smart cities. Restrict and minimize travel to natural land habitats and forests. That's why Bill Gates is buying so much land, people. I mean, over 500,000 acres of land throughout the United States and even other parts of the world. Whew, okay. Now, that was number 15. So now on for the last two. Now, for the last two, we're going to go to number 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. I thought we had that already here in the United States. Okay. So promote peaceful societies and inclusive institutions for sustainable development. Okay. What it can also possibly mean, though, is that only those with FRID chips and a digital ID passport with biometric data on a blockchain can be a part of the peaceful society. Social credits will be used to get the population to obey the NWO and also punish unwanted behavior to those who do not comply that will be imprisoned or have benefits on the blockchain turned off. I'm just saying, allegedly. That's what it could possibly mean, right? Also, number 17, yes, which is the last sustainable goal, partnership of the goals. So these partnerships. Now, according to the UN, these partnerships of nations throughout the globe is to strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize global partnerships for sustainability. Wonderful. But what it also could mean is in order to implement all 17 sustainable development goals is to maintain global partnerships for the goals, a number of key technologies needed to further push on society, such as the CBDC, blockchain technology, CRISPR gene editing, AI monitoring, sensors, AI and biometric facial recognition cameras, 5G, 6G, 6E, smart cities, FRID chips, also IoT, IOB, robotics, and etc. to fully control the world. What could allegedly mean, right? Possibly when these systems are put into place. So there you have it, folks. These are the 17 sustainable goals for development. Now, the 17 sustainable development goals that make up the Agenda Do You Dirty is essentially serves as the recipe for the coming technocratic one world order system. The UN plans to have nations to continue to impose new laws and initiatives upon their citizens in an effort to achieve these goals, which they lump under the sustainability. Now, this Agenda Do You Dirty is a ramp up from its predecessor, Agenda 21, and its aims to control everything and to control all of land's water, energy, technology, production, information, animals, and all humans through AI and 6GE, blockchain, and RFID, thus making the elites setting up the stage to enslave humanity under the rule of the Antichrist, or you can say the, Satan spawn. But yes, this is what it's culminating into. And people, the book of Revelation ain't lying. Just like the scripture scriptures don't lie. The word of the Most High is absolute. It's very definitive. So people, be very aware of these things that are happening around us and make the proper adjustments. Because if you're not aware, how can you be prepared to make these adjustments? And I say that to say this, is that we all have a purpose to serve here. I've been saying it over and over again, and I will say it until my last day on this realm, is that we have a purpose to serve here. Serve your purpose. Serve your families. And do what you're here to do. And take time to really study the world that you live in so that you can move accordingly in order to the Most High. Because we all have been blessed and favored and graced with infinite possibilities. So even though these dark forces are pushing these initiatives so heavy and so they're so persistent on pushing this with us, it's just very important that we understand that we come from the source. We are the resource to the source, and that we have that light within us. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, I want to take this time out to say, when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. This is all the informationalists from the Network of Awareness saying peace, love, and light.
This concludes the Network of Awareness podcast. For more information on the Network of Awareness, please subscribe via email to our website, networkofawareness.com, and follow us on Spreaker.com or any other listening apps you use. For any questions about the NOA, email us at aura@networkofawareness.com. Thank you for listening to one of the fastest growing podcast shows on society and culture in America and abroad. When you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.